Hey, what's up out there, YouTube? Double D here with Tournage Dubois. Welcome back. Today we are working with a piece of cottonwood. This is a pretty large piece, but I'm going to split it this direction. Just tested it on the moisture meter. It's running about 8 to 12%, depending on where I get it. But I'm going to cut it lengthwise, and we're going to be working with a spindle piece. So we're going to try and do a different type of vase Hollowform. I don't want to ruin too many surprises because I don't even know what it's going to end up looking like. So let's get to it. Hey everybody, welcome back. Hope you enjoyed that piece. So we used that piece of cottonwood, turned it on the multi-axis with 3 different points marked, keeping the base center point the same for the tapered effect. Cottonwood is a really soft wood if you've never worked with it. So on the eccentric turning, I got a lot of tear out. It was pretty rough, as I'm sure you could see in the video. But I used 60 grit sandpaper to get it smoothed up after the basic shape was achieved, and then was able to put it back in the chuck fully with get the top part turned, and that part cut perfectly fine. Then we did the iron orchid design transfer on this with the help of my wonderful wife Sarah. Wraps around that corner, wraps around the top just a little bit. So just did a couple little items. We did a peony, the flower bud, the leaves, and then the butterfly at the bottom. Didn't want to overwhelm the piece with a whole bunch of them, but just wanted to get the one. Hollowed it out nice and thin all the way around, a little bit of an undercut on the lip, and overall a pretty nice piece. I will be doing these more down the road, but I'll use a much better wood because cottonwood is just way too soft. That being said, if this is your first time here, please do consider subscribing. If you like the movie video, give it a thumbs up. If not, give it a thumbs down. Either way, if you do give it a thumbs down, please leave a comment. Tell me how I can improve, what I can do better, what you appreciate. Leave that feedback because I do respond to all of them. And we'll catch you next time. What's up out there, YouTube? Double D here with Turnage Dubois. Welcome back. I was at my local wood turners club and we had a silent auction, and so we were doing some bidding. This is one of 3 small, roughly 5-inch elm burls that I got. Super excited to give this a turn, do a nice little dish, see what happens with the bark in this area. But let's get going. Hey everybody, welcome back. Hope you enjoyed that project. We took that little elm burl and we turned our hollow form with the live edge. So used the elbow hollowing system, used some of my carbides to get down in there, got it hollowed out. We do have our one area down here where you can see light through that because we of course went through. I wanted to leave the live edge, wanted to leave it natural, didn't want to cast it. Very happy with how this turned out. I did sand this up to 600 grit since I'm not able to use the abrasive paste with all the voids and things with the burling. So I didn't want to have to clean all that stuff out. And then of course finished with the polymerized tung oil that I showed you in there as well. Use a little bit of the Star Bond. If you do need Star Bond, use a link down below. You can use that and get 15% off your purchase. Great products. Absolutely love the Star Bond CA glue. If this is your first time here, please do consider subscribing. If you liked the video, mash that thumbs up. Leave a comment down below. Talk about what you liked. If you didn't like it, thumbs down. Tell me what you didn't like. That's how I'm going to improve and do better and learn more with the wood turning. At any rate, I hope you have a wonderful day and we'll catch you next time. Hey out there YouTube, Double D here with Tournage du Bois. Welcome back. Today we have this elm burl. I did an elm burl piece a while back from some burls that I got from our local club with an auction. So this is one of the pieces. I really like how this looks. I'm going to keep as much of that burling as possible, but I want to do a hybrid piece. It is approximately 7 inches in diameter, about 5 inches tall. So we're going to get this, all the bark pulled off of here, and then we're going to get it cast and go from there. So let's get going. So I mixed up 755 grams of each part of part A and B of the Alumilite Slow Clear Cast. And so we are going to do a white alcohol ink. We're just having a little bit of the white. And then we're going to do green. So this is grass green of the Mix-All alcohol inks. And then this color is Honey Amber of the Trans Tint. So we have our white. We're going to mix that up. Doesn't take a lot to get that mixed. Our Honey Amber. And I like using the alcohol inks before I use the mica powder, just to add a little bit of coloring before the mica powder goes in. So that will allow for the mica powder to have a greater effect and will actually change the color just a little bit. And I'll explain why I picked these colors of alcohol ink. So the first color of mica powder we're going to go with is Soji or Shoji from Eye Candy Mica Powders. And this is white. Just do one little scoop of that. That'll have a nice glittery effect. Now we're going to go with Emerald Green, also from Eye Candy. Because there's more of it, I will use a larger scoop of the mica powder. And there is a link, if you're looking for mica powder, there is a link down below that you can use to get a discount on some mica powder. So this is Vibrant Bronze, which is what I'm using with the Honey Amber alcohol ink. I'm going to use extra of that. Now we'll get all these mixed. Man, that's just beautiful. Loving that color. There's a little bit of that pearlescent swirling in that white, which is why I really like this Shoji white from Eye Candy. Gonna use some Starbond brown, fill in these little bit of cracks and stuff. I'm gonna let that dry. Then I'll turn it. I don't want to accentuate them necessarily, but I don't want to hide them. So we'll be filling in these little bit of voids with the brown, and then we'll clean this back up and get moving. Now what I'm spraying on the glue is an accelerant. So what that does is that actually cures the glue almost instantly, at least on the surface. That will allow for the glue to slowly harden up underneath, but keep it from running out as I turn the piece. If you need some Starbond, there is a link in the description, or you can use coupon code DD15 to get 15% off your order of Starbond CA glue. It is awesome stuff, works really, really well, and I love using it. So we have that sanded only at 80 grit because I want to do a resin finish on this piece. So we're going to hit it with denatured alcohol just to clean it up and get a look at what this is going to look like. Hopefully. And I think that's going to be just beautiful. So it might take a coat or two of the resin, but that is okay because I think it's going to look spectacular. The only reason I'm going to say it's going to take a coat or two is because this wood will probably soak some of it up. So then we'll sand it back and do another coat after that. Now that we have that on, we will use the torch and pop any air bubbles we might see. And like I said, we'll probably have to sand this back and reapply the coat since the wood wasn't stabilized, but we will certainly see what happens. And we will let that run overnight and be back tomorrow. Hey everybody, welcome back. Hope you enjoyed that project where we took that elm burl and put the resin with it for St. Patty's Day. So this is my piece, final, with the resin coating on it, the elm burl, the swirling of the resin, the small Hollowform. So yeah, there's a few things I'm not super thrilled with about it, but overall I'm pretty happy for the most part. Definitely something I'm going to learn from and grow. But it's just my personal thoughts about the piece. So I don't like, it's not quite as glossy as I wanted. There's a couple of little spots where it appears the resin coating ran on it. So just like I said, lessons learned, things that I've grown from. So yeah, the final piece, Springtime from Ireland, in Gaelic, like I had in the title, is pronounced Erach na Erin. So thank you, Leona Faye, for that information. I'm going to put a link to her channel right up here. Support her. She does some awesome stuff as well. So I greatly appreciate your support and your friendship. If this is your first time here, please do consider subscribing. If you like the video, give it the thumbs up. If not, give it a thumbs down. Either way, leave a comment, feedback down below, because I appreciate that and that helps me grow. And we'll catch you next time. Hey, what's up out there, YouTube? Double D here with Tournage du Bois. Welcome back. Today we've got this piece of spalted sycamore. I want to do another water drop vase like I did previously for the YouTube cross-channel challenge. I'm going to put a link to that video right up here. That one was out of walnut. This one's going to be out of sycamore. So let's have some fun. Let's get going. All right, we have that shaped, and I want just a nice round shape like water. So now we will begin sanding. So we'll sand up just a little bit, then we'll sanding sealer it, and then we will go from there. I thought about moving the tenon, decided not to. So yeah, we're just going to start sanding this up, and then we'll get to hollowing out and start carving that top part. All right, so we got our sanding sealer applied. It's drying up pretty good, so we're going to put some thin CA glue on this. I don't want to mess with the coloring, so I'm just going to do thin CA from Starbond. So there's a link to Starbond down below where you can get a 15% off discount by using that link, or you can use coupon code DD15 for a 15% discount as well. So either way, you can save yourself some pretty good money on that, and it's good quality product. So check it out if you need some. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back over this with my scraper. So we will put the scraper on again, and we will scrape this back just a little bit. And I want to do a big shout out to my buddy Jim Garner over at Garnered Wood. He came over and we put a negative rake on my scraper just for a little bit better result. Now that we have that scraped, we'll go back to sanding and go from there. All right, well, we have that sanded up to 180 grit. I'm going to hit it with denatured alcohol a little bit early just to stand that grain up. Then we'll hit it back with the 240 and the 320. And then I want to do another round of the sanding sealer just for a little extra finish on that, smooth it up a little bit more for the final piece. So I won't bore you with all that, but figured I'd bring you back for the denatured alcohol portion, so we'll see kind of what it should look like when we're finished and be able to go from there. All right, I got that sanded up to 400 grit. Now we're going to use our Brad's abrasive sanding paste. This is extra fine, so it's approximately 1500 grit, give or take a little bit. But we're going to use that on the outside of this piece and get a nice, super smooth finish started on this one. And I know I've talked about this a bit on how to apply it, but you just rub it all around. You'll feel the grit in it as you go. And then once you stop feeling some of that grit, that's when you want to put on, turn the lathe on and use that to buff that out. And you'll use that on a clean part. There is a link to Brad's Etsy store down below. Brad just recently sold his 1000th kit on Etsy, so big congratulations to Brad. And if you are one of the many people who have purchased, used it, and even won it and used it, leave your feedback down below. Let Brad, give Brad a good shout out and let him know what you think of that abrasive paste and tongue wax kit. So I normally run the lathe between 500 and 600 for this. I'm not looking to build up any heat or friction necessarily. I just want to work that in really, really well so that it smooths that surface up even more than the sandpaper did. Then you just move to a clean part of the rag. As you can see, just a little tiny bits coming off still. So probably just have one more spot that we move to, and then this will be all done and ready to start hollowing. I will do a finish at the end. More than likely I'll do the tongue honey finish, since I'm not going to be able to buff it off on the lathe like I would with the tongue wax, since I will have this carved a bit. And it's clean, so we are done. That is super smooth. That crack filled in nicely. You can't even feel that. The spalting is very nice. So now we are going to hollow this out, and then we will carve that rim last. All right, I have that inside as far as I can get sanded to 320 grit. I did touch this up just a little bit just to blend it, since I'm going to be doing some carving. There's going to be some more sanding on it anyway. So at this point, we are ready to start carving the little splash at the top of the piece. So let's get going with that. All right, so we are back. We have hand sanded this up to 400 grit, just like we did the body. And now I'm going to part it off, and then we will finish up the bottom. We will get our logo on it, and then we will get the finish applied. All right, we are back. We got it laser engraved with the logo. Super happy with how this turned out. It is smaller than what my other water drop vase was. But at this point, we are going to put our finish on it. So for the finish, we are going to use the Tung honey from Brad's workshop. As I mentioned before, there is a link down below in the description if you want to try some of this. Good stuff, love it, and it goes on really, really nicely. So let's get this going. Hey everybody, welcome back. Hope you enjoyed that project where we took the spalted sycamore and made the splash vase. So here is the finished project. Not super big, but that's quite all right. Shaped like a water drop with the splash effect at the top. I did have a couple of pieces right here and right here break off. So I had those happen. That's going to when you get the wood really thin. Just carved them to make it look like the beginning of a splash effect, so it's more of a directional splash. Really happy with how it hollowed out. Walls are about a 3/8 inch thickness all the way around. Got the logo laser engraved on it and finished with the Tung honey from Brad's workbench. Love the figuring in spalted sycamore. There are portions of it that are relatively plain, and as you turn it from a different angle, you're always going to get a different view. But lots and lots of hand sanding on this, as you can imagine, but really enjoy the project, really enjoy the process of making things representative of different projects and different items. If this is your first time here, please do consider subscribing. If you liked the video, mash the thumbs up. If you didn't like it, mash the thumbs down. Leave your comments, leave your feedback. What are your thoughts? How do you like it? Leave that all down below. I appreciate it. I do read and respond to each and every one of them. And we will continue working as we are prepping for an art show coming up June 3rd and 4th here in Topeka, Kansas. So if you are around the area that weekend, definitely come by the Mulvane Art Show at Washburn University and check out all the amazing artists and support your local artists and the creativity that they come up with. At that rate, we will catch you next time. What's up out there, YouTube? Double D here with Tournage du Bois. Welcome back. Today we have this piece of figured maple. It's got a little bit of an inclusion here, live edge area where the tree bark was. Not going to worry about that too much, but this is approximately 7 inches across, 3 inches deep. I want to try something. I got a little idea going on in my head. Let's see what happens with it. We have that sanded up to 240 grit. We're going to go ahead and hit this with denatured alcohol just to get a look at it, get that grain to stand up a little bit for sanding it back even further. Get an idea, of course, as to what it's going to look like when we're done. When you hit it with that denatured alcohol, when you go back over it, it feels just a little bit rough. That's that grain that just stands up, and you knock it back, and then that gets an even smoother finish on it. That's why it's definitely beneficial to use some sort of a moisture. I use denatured alcohol, of course, because it evaporates much faster than water, but there's a lot of people out there who use just a spritz of water to do that same thing. And whatever works for you in your instance is perfectly okay. Now, if you notice, I am sanding this in reverse. I've been sanding this with the tailstock up. I sand it both directions typically, just to make sure I get as much of the roughage as I possibly can off of it. Now we have that sanded up to our 420 grits. We're going to hit it with our Brad's abrasive sanding paste. There is a link to his Etsy store down in the description, so if you want to give it a try, definitely check it out. Super happy with how this works and the coloring it gives to the piece. I mean, it's already starting, it'll start to soak in and give just a little bit of color to it. All natural ingredients, food safe. Both his abrasive paste and his Tung honey and Tung wax finishes. 100% food safe, so highly recommended for any piece that might come into contact with food or might come into contact with a chewing toddler. I use his finish on baby rattles that I have done. Very happy with it. Confident it will continue to look beautiful for a long time. As well as be safe for anybody coming into contact with it. Alright, so we have that hollowed out. This is an 1 3/8 opening. We've got it hollowed out, not all the way to the wall, just because my angle tool won't reach, but it's pretty good. It's maybe 3/4 of an inch thick on the sides. The base is pretty good in there and thin. Not like super thin, but we've got a little heft to it. So I'm going to lightly sand up this surface, get the ring the opening all good and done. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some texturing on the top here. Just have a little bit of fun with that, see what we can do. And we are back. We have that sanded up to 400 grit. So what I want to do now is I have this super black India ink. We're going to do the finial in the black, and that way it'll really stand out from the piece of wood. Got gloves on, of course. Definitely don't want to get this all over your hands. Obviously it will not go well. Don't do that either. So I might end up doing a couple of coats on this because it is soaking in. I just want this as black as I can possibly get it. So we shall see what happens. But if I do a second coat, I won't bore you with that because it'll be the exact same process. All right, we are back. We've got our logo put on the bottom. We have it all sanded up and ready to go. So now we're going to use our Tung Honey finish from Brad's and put a nice color into this with this finish. Hey everybody, welcome back. Hope you enjoyed that piece where I took that piece of curly maple and made the Hollowform. So here is the finished piece, approximately 7 inches across, just under 3 inches tall. It is got we have the black finial with the India ink with the gloss lacquer. Pretty tight fit, not super tight, easier to get in and out. Hollowed out pretty good. I mean, obviously I can't get all the way up in the corners, but really happy with it overall. And then of course, finished with the Brad's Tung Honey. If this is your first time here, please do consider subscribing. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If not, give it a thumbs down. Leave your comments, feedback down below. I appreciate it and grow. And we'll catch you next time. What's up out there, YouTube? Double D here with Tournage du Bois. Welcome back. Today we have this crotch piece. I do believe it to be elm, but we are starting to see a little bit of spalting in there. So I'm hoping to, kind of excited to see what comes out of this. But I am wanting to do a Hollowform of some kind. Really enjoy doing those, so let's get going. All right, we're going to use some myelin sanding sealer, so that way if we use any CA glue on this, it won't stain the wood. This tool, which is my new D-Way 3 or 5/8 inch gouge, it is super sharp. That's how they ship it, and I've been keeping it good and sharp, and so it is cutting absolutely beautifully. I cannot recommend this tool, the D-Way tools, any more than possible. It's amazing how sharp they come. This quality is so good on them, and really happy with how they work and how they keep that sharp edge to be able to work longer without having to resharpen as much. So if you're in the market for some tools, definitely check out the D-Way tools. I do not believe you'll be disappointed at all, but give them a check. I'll put their website down in the description below, so yeah, go check it out, see if they have anything you might need. But I'm really happy with the tools so far. So we're gonna let that set, dry up, and then we will decide what we're doing for our inlay, if we're gonna do like brass or if we're gonna do something else. So give it a minute, we'll be back. All right, we are back. So what I'm going to do is I have some shavings from a key machine. I've used them before, and I'll put a link to one of those videos up in this corner here. But I like using these little key shavings. Give a nice little feature. And we're going to use our thin Star Bond. There is a link down below in the description. So if you need some CA glue, definitely try the Star Bond. With the link below or my coupon code of D15, you will get a 15% discount on your purchase of Star Bond CA glue. All right, we have that sanded up to 180 grit, but I want to do another coat of the sanding sealer just to raise that grain again, and we will do it with the denatured alcohol as well. But I really want to get this a nice, super smooth finish, and I think with those brass shavings it's really going to stand out. So we're going to do a second coat of the sanding sealer, and then we will get back to sanding and then we'll hit it with the denatured alcohol just before we do the 400 grit, and that'll give us a view of what it should look like when we get the finish put on it, and then we will get the inside going. And we are back. It is time for our denatured alcohol. So we have this sanded up to 320 grit. We're just going to hit it with the denatured alcohol, raise that grain one more time. sanding sealer should have done that pretty well, so I don't see this going back too awfully far, but every little bit helps when you want a beautifully finished, super smooth piece. So we'll hit this cleaned up here real quick, and then we'll hit it with our 400 grit. All right, that is super duper smooth. I don't even think I'm going to use abrasive paste on that. So yeah, super happy with that. And we'll get to hollowing. Alright, I have that sanded up to 320 grit, so time for some good old denatured alcohol. We'll get this cleaned up, raise that grain just a little bit, and then we will hit it with the 400 grit and knock it right back. The downside with doing these types of pieces is there is a lot of hand sanding that goes into it, but the end product is definitely worth the extra time and effort that goes into all the hand sanding. All right, now we're going to get that parted off and we will get the finish applied. For our finish, we're going to use our Tung honey from Brad's Workbench. And there is a link down below to his Etsy store if you want to try some. Check it out. Good stuff. He has been selling a lot of it. So I think he's planning another something coming up here in the very near future. So if that is the case, I'm pretty sure that this channel will be involved in any giveaway or promotion that he has going on. So definitely stay tuned. Follow him on Instagram, Facebook, Brad's Workbench. I'll put that his info down right here at the bottom of the screen, what his Instagram name, screen name is. He has a YouTube channel as well where he does tool reviews. He's gonna hopefully be able to start doing some wood turning again here soon. He's been really busy with work and everything else going on, but Yeah, really excited to continue to work and help him with his passion for woodworking and proper finishes. So definitely check it out. Hey everybody, welcome back. Hope you enjoyed that project where we took that elm crotch and we turned our vase. So here is the finished piece. It is approximately 7 inches tall, hollowed out very thin all the way down. Really consistent depth. I did leave it a little bit wider on at the bottom part of the inside, just to give it a little bit more stability. A little bit more weight at the bottom so it's harder to tip over. Left the live edge on it, of course. We did the brass inlays. Not sure how well those come up, but really happy with how those turned out. Got the logo burned on the bottom around that bark inclusion. Like I said, overall really happy with how this turned out. Super duper smooth with the 2 coats of the sanding sealer, sanded up to 400 grit. No abrasive paste just due to the live edge. At any rate, like I said, hope you enjoyed that. Leave your thoughts, comments, feedback down below. If this is your first time here, please do consider subscribing. If you like the video, mash the thumbs up. If not, mash the thumbs down. Either way, like I said, leave a comment because that's how I learn and grow. So we will catch you all next time. Hey, what's up out there YouTube? Double D here with Tournage du Bois. Welcome back. Today we've got this piece of walnut. Obviously spindle orientation. I want to do a narrow hollow form out of this. Some sort of a vase of some kind, something. Haven't really decided what it's going to end up looking like. Let's see what happens and get to it. right, so I'm pretty happy with that shape. I might do a little bit of texturing. I do have a little bit of cracking. It shows here. So yeah, it comes down here into the neck just a little bit. So there's one crack down here on the body as well. Other than that, really happy with the shape. So we're going to start sanding up, get some sanding sealer on it, so then we can do some CA glue on these cracks. Might do a little bit of texturing, but we will see once we get this going and see where we want to go. So we have our myelin sanding sealer we're going to put on, let that dry, and then we will get to the glue, and then we will knock that back and then start sanding. And we're back. We're going to use our Star Bond Thin on this crack because it's so scrawny, so minimal. And then on these over here, they're a little bit thicker, so we'll actually use our Star Bond Black. Actually, I might use the brown just so it doesn't stand out. There's a little crack here I'm going to hit too, but for the most part, yeah, I think I'm going to use the brown just so it doesn't distract from anything on this. So, like I said, we're going to start with our thin. There is a link in the description down below where you can save 15% off your Star Bond purchase. Saves you a little bit of money, and when you make that purchase, it also helps out this channel just a little bit. So I certainly do appreciate each and every one of you that have bought some, and glad we could offer that little bit of a discount to help people out as well. So now we're going to use our Star Bond Brown, which is a medium thick. Going to fill in those little bit larger joints that we have. They aren't super significant, but every little bit will help. We'll fill those in, and we'll be able to get those turned, and you'll barely be able to notice them, hopefully. For those of you who are wondering why I do the sanding sealer first, that is because it keeps the glue from staining the wood, which can lead to unsightly marks if it stains, and that bothers me. I don't like that. So that's one thing I learned. Sanding sealer helps to seal that up so it doesn't, the glue doesn't absorb as much into the wood itself, just fills in the crack. A little bit of accelerant on there just to speed up the solidification process. Doesn't take much, but allows that glue to instantly cure. Alright, so we've got our cracks filled here on the lower side of that lip, and then I'll get those others touched up when we do that portion. So we're going to let that glue dry, which it's already dry to the touch, but there'll be still a little bit curing underneath. We'll get that scraped back, and then we will get this sanded. And then decide if we're going to do any texturing. See you in a minute. Now we have that sanded up to 320 grit, so time for a little denatured alcohol. Give us a look at what it's going to look like, clean it up a little bit. We're also going to pop that grain just a little bit so we can get it sanded and knocked back the way we need it to. Okay, now we have that textured, so we're going to knock that back again with the 400 grit. Then we will hit it with our abrasive paste and finish. Abrasive paste, extra fine, from Brad's Workbench. There is a link to his Etsy store down below in the description if you want to try some out. Every so often he does do giveaways, so that's kind of fun. I get to participate in those and give away some kits, so stay tuned, tune in every so often, and we do have the giveaways. And go till the rag is clean, just like always. That tells us we are done with the abrasive paste. Alright, so we have that hollowed out now. We're going to use our CA glue on these little bit of cracks. And once again, we're going to use our thin on some of the smaller cracks. Then on some of the larger cracks, we'll use the brown CA glue just to help seal those up, just to make sure we don't get anything happening with anything there. And then once again, the brown. Now we're going to let that dry and set up, and then we will turn that back and start our sanding. And we're back, sanded up to 320 grit. Time for our denatured alcohol. Clean it up, pick up any dust, pop that grain. Then we will finish sanding it and get our finish applied. Time for our abrasive paste. And we're going to use our Tung honey finish from Brad's. Hey everybody, welcome back. Hope you enjoyed that where we took that piece of walnut and turned the vase. So here we have it. We have a little bit of the sapwood on the outside with the heartwood, which is the darker on the inside. We have the stippling with the Dremel that we did on the rim, and we have it hollowed out for a glass tube or something like that to go in there to hold water. Got it branded on the bottom, had to kind of set it up at a weird angle to get that to work, but it worked out well. At any rate, had a lot of fun with this, really enjoyed it, and definitely will be doing more texturing and things as we go down the road and I keep growing. So if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If not, give it a thumbs down. If this is your first time here, please do consider subscribing. Leave a comment and feedback down below. I do appreciate it, and I grow from those. So thank you, and we'll catch you all next time.